All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Restless Nerd Podcast. This is episode 1. My name's Tom, and we're going to see how this works out. And today, as my guest, I have my brother Tim.
How's it going?
And we're just going to talk about a few topics today. Probably be like an hour stream. We'll see how into it, how involved we get with our topics, and we'll see how long it takes. So, welcome everyone. All right, so a couple things we're going to talk about. There's been a few things happening this week in video gaming regarding Sega and their anniversary, some announcements, and we have the PSO roadmap that was announced, and we also have the PS5 that got announced, and the trailer that everybody was freaking out about, and all the memes that happened from seeing what the PS5 actually looked like. So we'll start getting into it. So, as a Sega fanboy yourself, Tim, how do you feel about the 60th anniversary? Are you happy at all with anything they announced?
I'm excited to see what else might happen because so far I'm not too interested. So they announced the Game Gear Micro, and honestly, I have no idea about it. So explain a little bit to me about what the Game Gear Micro is.
so, so from what I get from it, it's a keychain handheld system. They basically they made it seem like they said, "Oh, we have this innovative announcement. It's going to be this great thing." They hyped it up so much, like it was going to be the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. And then they just said, it's a really small Game Gear that fits in the palm of your hand. And by the palm of your hand, I mean it's literally the size of the palm of your hand. And then each system, there's different colors. Each color has a certain like 4 games included with it, and each color has different games. So if you want all the games, you have to get every single color of the Game Gear Micro. Look at that. And then it's easy to confuse it with the Game Boy Micro because
Yeah.
Nintendo literally had a Game Boy Micro. And if Sega released this and it was the size of the Game Boy Micro and maybe had like 10 games on it or something like that, that would be more reasonable. But this thing is like $50. It brings 4 games, and it's probably like, I'd say like 5 inches in length. It's the smallest thing. I don't even know how anybody's gonna be able to play games on it.
Okay, so I'm looking at the website right now, and underneath the picture, it says this item is Japan limited edition. So is this only going to be released in Japan?
Right now, that's what it's looking like. They haven't released a ton of news on it, so yeah, we'll see what happens. Some of the games too, they're like RPGs. So even if you wanted to import it, you can't. If you don't know Japanese, you're not going to be able to play the game.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Sonic, that's fine. It's Sonic. Anybody can play Sonic. You don't need to know Japanese to play Sonic. But with they have like Shining Force and some other games, and it's like it's all text based. So you're not going to be able to play the game at all, even if you import it. It'll just be like a collector's item. But also, it's like the price is tough too because it's $50. So that's a little bit pricey for basically a glorified keychain.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, what else do they have for the 60th anniversary that they've announced?
So far, let's see. I'm on the site right now. We have a watch. If you're a businessman, well, it's Seiko. That's at least it's a good watch company.
So let me see what the price is on that. So
Oh yeah,
it says it's 44,000 yen, which translates to
that's like $440 US, roughly.
$410. Wait, yeah, about
Oh,
$410.
okay.
That's not too bad. I mean, I'm not gonna buy it, but it's
it's
not too
it's
bad.
not too bad. I wouldn't buy it personally, but it's not too bad.
You know what? I like the logo that they have. That It's the 60th anniversary, and it looks like it says "Go," so then it says "Go Sega."
Yeah,
I
you
like
gotta
that.
you gotta go fast. Sanic.
Let's see. I see some keychains. Yeah,
Yeah, look,
not much.
they have icons. What are these stickers? They have so they have shirts and watches. You would have think you would think for a 60th anniversary they would be doing a lot more than what they are right now.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Sonic's birthday is coming up soon.
you would know Sonic's birthday.
Let me see. It is. Oh, well, maybe it's not his technical birthday. They say March 4th is his birthday, like when he was born, but I think like the release of Sonic 1, maybe? Let's see. Yeah, June 23rd, 1991.
So
So he is going to be 20. Wait,
he's gonna be
eight,
29.
yeah,
Yeah, cause
you're almost as old. Or
exactly.
wait, yeah,
Cause
he's almost as old as you are.
yes, Me and Sonic almost have a similar birthday. Sonic
Yeah.
is older than me
Oh yeah,
by
yeah, that's
6 months.
right. Yeah, so because I know they're doing an event in PSO2 where if you type in gotta go fast, you get some Sonic stuff.
So,
It starts, I think, later on this month.
oh, okay. I was about to say I was playing yesterday with you. You didn't tell me this. I could have had some Sonic gear.
No, yeah, I'll update you with the date of that.
Oh, don't they have an acrylic keychain? All right. This is it's really sad like looking at where Sega's at right now. Like they're still making great games, you know. I think they own Atlas video games and they have the Persona series and it's still so big. But then you have like an IP like Sonic and things get released and it takes such a long time for them to come out. And then sometimes when they do come out, it's just lackluster. And you're just like, what is this? What is this game that they released?
You know,
Like,
and the Sonic movie was so big, you would think that they would follow it up with something.
yeah, no. They kind of just,
Well, they still have an opportunity, you know.
yeah.
His birthday isn't yet. You got a couple weeks.
Well, I think they were saying they had like a bunch of big announcements and stuff, but so far I haven't heard anything. So the only thing they've announced really is this Game Gear, and it was built up with so much hype, and then everybody was just kind of like, well, that's it. So hopefully something happens because right now it's not looking too good.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
looking kind of boring. I mean, you hit a 60th anniversary milestone. Like when people were saying, "Oh, it could be like a Dreamcast Mini or something like that," like that would be awesome. As a fan of Dreamcast myself, I would have loved that, and it would have been great, especially because the Genesis Mini did so well and people really liked it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it it probably sold a lot better than the PS1 Mini. That's for sure.
You leave the PS1 Mini alone. The PS1 Mini sold the PlayStation 1 Classic sold very well after the price dropped to like $20, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they should have not released it for $100 to begin with. But after that, okay, it did great. It was awesome. And everybody loved it. And
Do you own one?
yeah, I have one.
Gotcha.
I still haven't modded it though. The modding community loves it cuz they put like you know, custom stuff on it, like RetroArch and stuff like that. And they got it working pretty good. You can play a lot of systems just on the PlayStation Classic.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and you can also you could take it and get like a USB splitter type cable and get like a flash drive with like a lot of space on it and you can put like a ton of games and it'll let you have that plugged in along with the power, and then you still have your two controller ports up in the front. But you have to like
Okay.
run a certain file in it to get it to work so it can recognize the OTG from the flash drive. But after that, it's great. Like YouTuber Mad Little Pixel, he does so many videos on it because he loves it because he puts so many different games, and he buys like all the mini stuff. He loves like the Neo Geo Classic, but he's like once the PlayStation Classic came out, it was like hands down better than a lot of the other systems for running a lot of emulators and stuff.
You know what? Nintendo has to step up with that N64 mini. Gotta hope for it.
I want a GameCube mini.
Too soon.
Nope, skip everything. Give
They
me a
need
GameCube.
GameCube on Switch. That's what they need.
I don't really
I
need
mean,
a Game Boy Mini
Nintendo
anymore.
hasn't really announced anything like at all, right?
No, not really.
Recently, they haven't done anything whatsoever.
There's rumors of a Super Mario like bundle,
Yeah, I
like
heard that.
collection with like Mario 64, Mario Sunshine 1 and 2, Mario Galaxy, like having like all of them basically redone a little bit for the Switch, and then you can kind of have everything up to Odyssey, like the 3D games.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that rumor was like 3 months ago or something. You would think that something would happen by now, but I mean, they can't even keep up with demand on the amount of people buying Switches. So it's like, what's even the point?
yeah, but I mean, with all this that's going on, a lot of the companies haven't really had a lot of consoles going out because, like, I went to Target the other day and there's no Switches. I walked past the PlayStation
Someone took them
area.
all.
There's no PS4s. There's no PSVRs available right now. All the Xboxes were sold out, and there was barely any like actual games there. So like everyone's buying everything out now because I mean a lot of people don't have anything else to do. So a lot of them are gaming. Even people who weren't gamers before are gaming more now. So
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like you shouldn't really be giving excuses to the companies because they should be able to keep up with the supply and the demand. Like you have companies that they're going to show, what they've made in the quarter and it's going to be a set amount because they haven't been able to sell as much as they possibly could have. You know, it's kind of sad because Nintendo could be making, you know, definitely over $1 million if they were able to keep up supply with the Switch. But instead, you have people going to third party sellers that are scalping the price of the Switch, and Nintendo sees none of that money.
yeah,
It's very sad.
yeah, that's it's the same thing with Elgato and all these other companies too. So you have like Nintendo. The problem is too, so many of them are outsourcing to different areas. You have Nintendo, a Japanese company, who's outsourcing to Korea and China. So then, with all that outsourcing, whatever's happening over there, it's putting delays on you getting your product out. And then you have Elgato, who's owned by Corsair now, who's a huge company. Corsair owns Elgato, and they bought out Scuff. So they have other companies under them too. So you have this big company, and they can't keep up with the demand of their products. So you have all these Elgato products selling out stuff, and I know this because I'm looking for things personally, and I can't find them. All I want is a cam link, and I can't even find it for a reasonable price because I would like to do. Because I was looking at you do like camcorders, they'll do 1080p 60 frames per second, and you'll get a way better picture quality than the Logitech camera. And for a fraction of buying a DSLR or anything like that, like there's $60 camcorders you can get and hook up to a cam link, and you get great picture quality. But I can't even get that. It's supposed to be $130. I go on Mercari and eBay, and there's a guy with pictures of like 15 of them spread out, selling them for like $250 each, a markup of $120. Like, it's ridiculous. But then you have companies like Amazon who aren't helping, who decide that I saw yesterday, and I had sent you the link, that they are going to take their refurbished products, which is basically just products that got returned that people decide they didn't want anymore, and they're upping the price and they're price gouging. And you have, I looked up the cam link on there. It's a used, renewed cam link, and they're trying to sell it for $218, and it's way above market value. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is so crazy. I mean, I'm just looking through, the different products that are available, and I mean, Elgato's doing some work with putting things back in stock. Like you can find some of the higher end products. So I've been looking for a capture card for a pretty long time now, but I don't really want to spend too much on it. You can find the 4K 60 Pro at its normal $250 MSRP. But for some reason, once the human malware happened, everyone thought that they were gonna become streamers, so they bought up all of the original HD60s and the HD60S, which is the external, which is selling for around $250 right now. So it is such a shame that you know people are buying everything up. I think it's really sad though that there are people who are buying things for the gouged price. So, for instance, I was lucky enough to find the what did I just get? It's not a Vive. It's a
Oh,
Oculus Rift.
yeah, the Rift S.
Yeah, so I was able to find a Rift S finally, and I got it for the MSRP of how much was it? $400, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So other people are spending $550 and upwards for it. And I honestly just can't believe that. I could never bring myself to buy something for more than it's worth.
Yeah, it's tough with the market now. And then, like, I had found the capture card the other day, refurbished, $100, and then all of a sudden, a couple days later, it's $250. It's like,
Yeah.
what? It doesn't make any sense. Why? One thing I could say, Aver Media has been pretty good with getting their stock out for their capture cards. Because every time I
Yeah.
check on that, like, their prices are pretty much market value. They haven't been able to price gouge those yet. So, if anybody's looking, go with Aver Media. I also found so like an alternative to the Cam Link. There's like this knockoff version that's on Amazon, and like you can find them on AliExpress for like $15. And on Amazon they range anywhere from like $30 to $50, but they're all pretty much the same thing. But they run at 1080p 30 frames per second. So the only reason I don't look at that is I'm trying to up my video quality. I'm not trying to keep it the same.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have 60 frames per second on 1080p, where there's less motion blur. If I'm moving, I'm not getting blurred out as much, and my frame is taken up a little bit better. But yeah, it's always an alternative for people. If anybody's out there looking for a single port capture card, they said the latency on it is actually really good. They said it's above like most of the Elgato capture cards. I think the only one that was like above it was like the 4K 60 um, PCI card or something
Yeah.
like that, and it was surprising too because it only runs on USB 2.0 instead of 3.0. And one of the guys I was watching, he was like, usually he steers people away from USB 2.0, but he's like, for some reason this thing works really well. And there was a guy who did like a teardown on it. He said like it works great. So
Yeah, there are some things that don't really require 3.0, like keyboards and mice. They're all good with 2.0.
yeah.
All right.
All right, let's
So,
move to the next topic. Let's talk
do
about
you want to
some Fantasy Star Online.
Okay.
Your
Save the big
specialty.
topic for the
Yeah, we'll save the
end.
big topic for the end because we'll probably be talking about that for a little while. We'll talk
Yeah.
about Fantasy Star Online because we're two Fantasy Star Online people, and you're a bit of an addict right now. So
Yeah,
we'll
definitely.
we'll have talk about this for a little bit.
I don't think I'm as bad as some other people. You have some people that, have been playing ever since 2012 and have been playing since. So it finally came to America thanks to Microsoft, our overlords.
Who would have thought we would have been thanking Microsoft for
I know.
a Sega game being released?
Yep. PlayStation and Sony had the chance, but they just didn't pull the trigger. They didn't want to put the money into it. But I know Microsoft's making a good amount off of this game.
Well,
Um,
see, I'm pretty sure Microsoft just recycled some old servers they had in the back, and they were like, "Yeah, sure, install the Fantasy Star Online stuff on there, and
yeah,
we'll just run off of those." That's probably why it was so glitchy in the beginning. They had to fix all the bugs in their old servers they had sitting in a dusty basement.
yeah. No, it's funny how many people complain about stuff, and it's like, just because you have an issue doesn't mean that other people have an issue.
Yeah.
A lot of the times it comes down to people's computers. You know, they, downloaded too many illegal Chinese cartoons, so their PC doesn't run too well.
Hey, sometimes they gotta do it.
Yeah.
Which okay, on a separate topic. I don't understand so much of the need to illegally download TV shows anymore because of all the streaming websites. You would have an easier time paying the $5-6, especially anime. We got Crunchyroll. Almost everything is on Crunchyroll. And if you do a certain deal, you get like Crunchyroll, High Dive, and like some other anime streaming sites. So you have all this plethora of shows that you can watch at your disposal for like $10 a month. That is so much easier than having to sit there and download 12 terabytes of illegally downloaded shows
Yeah.
when you could just stream it and you just don't have a problem at all.
I want to go into so bad how Netflix is dying.
Hey, they got some good movies
uh,
this past week. And there was like 3 of them, but I mean, and I was actually watching something. They said, I was watching a podcast from, uh, it's called Trash Taste. It's from some anime YouTubers. They started a podcast. Because everybody's starting a podcast, even me. So, but they were saying like Netflix was a double-edged sword for anime because it introduced a lot of people to anime and it made it so that it wasn't so frowned upon for people because for some reason everybody has something against anime. and,
myself included.
and then but then some of the anime that's on there is just like trash. Like it's just like filler stuff. They just throw it on there just because. But then they have like a lot of older, really good anime that it's like okay, people can watch it and they can start getting into watching anime and like deeper stuff that has plots to it. But then they have like trash on there too. So then it it kind of messes things up.
Well, what are the rates like for Netflix? Like, how much do you have to pay per month?
Yeah, too much money.
Yeah, I could imagine.
I think mine's is $17 now,
Oh,
but I have T-Mobile, so I only pay $3.
gotcha.
But that's only because of T-Mobile, and I forget if that was only for a year because if it drops off, then I probably wouldn't have Netflix anymore. I'd keep Hulu and like Disney Plus because even Disney Plus, I barely use Disney Plus. And there's stuff on there, and I'm like, oh yeah, man, that's nostalgia right there. Like,
Yeah.
there's like Disney Channel movies that I'm like, oh yeah, I used to watch that. So I made my fiance watch Johnny Tsunami from
Yeah.
Disney Channel, and she
I
was like,
remember
what is
that.
this? This old thing. Oh, and then I made her watch the sequel because we
Oh
finished it, and I was like,
no.
all right, now you got to watch the sequel. So, but
Yeah, I've
yeah,
never been a big movie or TV person, so tough for me when it comes to, people talking about subscribing to different providers like Netflix and Disney Plus, because to me it's like, what am I really going to be getting out of this? I feel like Spotify is so much more, up my alley. I've been using it since 2011, so it's like that I would pay for. Luckily, thanks to you, I don't have to, but keep that on the low
Welcome
low.
to the Spotify family. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just different for different people. Like I don't like regular TV. I specifically enjoy watching anime or some comic book related things. A lot of times I watch video podcasts like this and stuff like that on YouTube or educational stuff where I'm learning how to do something. But yeah, regular TV, it just I fell off. Like I'm paying for cable, but I don't watch it.
Yeah.
My fiance watches it. I don't watch it.
You gotta
At,
put all that money
well,
towards internet speed.
well, I have gigabit internet, so even though sometimes it feels like it's slow like a potato, like I'll have like my ping will just be like crazy for some reason out of nowhere, and then it's fine. But I'm just happy I don't have Comcast.
Yeah.
That's because uh, those peak times and peak hours, that'll just drop your internet so hard. It's like a rock being dropped
Drop it
into a
out
lake.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's get back to the topic that we were on.
This is a podcast.
Phantasy
Who needs
Star.
topics? Who needs topics?
I just can't believe that Phantasy Star finally made it to America. I played back in 2012 when the game first came out in Japan, but they ended up talking to Comcast and Verizon and not allowing people to connect to the Japanese servers. So then people had to start doing workarounds and everything, and it was all a mess. And then Diablo 3 came along, so I didn't even bother trying with it again. But 8 years later, PSO2's here, so I've put probably like 150 hours, I think.
Jesus. I've put I don't even know, probably like eh maybe maybe 20 hours, more than
Yeah,
maybe a little bit more than that.
yeah, I know people that are like, people who bought an Xbox so that they could play it a month earlier than on PC or
That
however long you guys had it.
that's why I bought the Xbox One X. I mean, also I got a deal from GameStop where I only paid $150 and I had store
Yeah,
credit. So I just got it. I played the beta and then I sold the Xbox. And then they decided that they were going to put the open beta out, but they weren't going to include PC in it. And then I was disappointed because I sold the Xbox and bought a PC.
yeah. Hey, PC's the way to go, but
and
maybe not for long.
and that time zone messes me up too with Fantasy
Yeah,
Star.
the PST.
Yeah, it's just kills me. Cause they'll be like, oh, there's an urgent quest at this time, and then I look at my time and it's like, oh, well, that's 5 a.m. over here, and
Yeah,
I want to sleep, so it doesn't work out very well. Yeah, but they have their uh their plan drawn out for when they want their episodes to come out. Cause in Japan they're all the way at episode 6.
yeah, with a level cap of 95.
Yeah. What's You're at your level cap, right? What is it,
Yeah,
75?
it's 75 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was episode 1. So I
No,
wonder.
that's episode 1 through 3.
Oh, okay. Oh, we just don't have all the content for episodes 2 and 3 yet, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think they said that they released some stuff here and there.
Yeah, cuz I can already see some of the outfits from episode 2 coming into play
Yeah,
already.
yeah.
Some people have them. So, they're working their way through it. I mean, at least they have a plan. Hopefully they stick to it. They stuck to the release of the game pretty well. The plan they had drawn out. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people who I talk to who play the game, they wanted just for them to dump everything all at once. I was like, that's kind of a dumb idea, you know. You kind of want to, extend the game out as much as you can. But so many people came from JP and they're like elitists and they want you to play the game exactly how they play. They want you to be meta, meta, meta. And it's like, I'm never too into that when it comes to games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's better if they spread it out too because it's a free to play game. So you need to keep people interested in it. You have to have something new on the horizon. You can't just give them everything all at once. Yeah, I understand everything came out in Japan already, but this isn't Japan. This is everywhere else. So it's like you need to keep people who are getting into it now involved with it. Because the thing is, too, yeah, some of the people that want everything to be dropped are probably people who were playing in Japan already. Well, they were playing on the Japanese servers, like they were doing their workarounds. So they just want to get some of the things that they had already with their old account. Where some other people, it's like they're just brand new to it. So you want to keep those new people as much as possible. I mean,
Yeah.
you've already siphoned money off of the other people, so the important thing is siphoning money off of the new people. Look at Epic and Fortnite; they know what they're doing. They suck everybody's wallets dry.
Yeah, Epic's doing pretty well for themselves, especially with those free games.
Oh, did you download the two new free games they had up?
No, what do they
Yeah,
have
they have
currently?
Samurai Showdown, Neo
Oh
Geo collection.
no,
Yeah, so
not Samurai
yeah,
Showdown.
so and that just released too. It's a $40 collection because Neo Geo decided to.
Oh, it's a collection. I
Yeah,
thought
it's
you meant it was the new
no, no,
Samurai
no. It's
Showdown.
not the new one. It's it's the collection of all the ones that released specifically on the Neo Geo back in the day.
Okay.
So they released a whole collection, and they have like I think it's Samurai Showdown 5 Special, which was like only released in this collection and as digital content before. So this is like the first time they're releasing certain stuff. And then they have another one that's like a complete version of another Samurai Showdown game that was never released. And they're releasing
Okay.
it with this collection. So and it's free. So you can't beat free on Epic. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
I
getting
hate
mine right
having
now.
like 16 different launchers to just play video games, but if I get free stuff, I'm pretty happy about that. Did you see Origin? EA is just putting all their games on Steam now.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So EA came to an agreement with Steam to start putting their games on there. And then they started putting the games on there and they're already like deep discounted. Like some of them are like half price, 40, 60% off, stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's like really good prices. So,
Yeah, I know Microsoft was doing that as well with Halo, I believe.
yeah, they
Because does Microsoft still own Halo?
yeah, Microsoft owns Halo, but they don't own Bungie Studio, which is the original like developer of Halo. So Bungie is its
Okay.
own thing now, own entity. So Bungie has no ownership of Halo as a brand. Um, Microsoft owns that, so they own it as an IP basically.
Okay, I see.
Can you? So I have a question on Twitch. It's can you carry your Origin license over to Steam? I'm not actually sure if you can carry it over. I just know they just started releasing games on there. You might be able to because they said some of the games like Battlefield, a lot of the Battlefield games, what they're doing is there's a small version of the Origin client that downloads with any of the games, and it basically loads in the background, so it makes it easier to load all the games onto Steam from EA. It was basically like a loophole type thing EA was able to do to make the games, load faster. So it might have some sort of connection uh, to Steam that way. So you might be able to just play your games through there. I mean that happened with Destiny and Activision because it was on Battle.net and then I had it on Battle.net, it automatically transitioned me over to Steam, and I didn't have to do anything. So, I mean, they might have something like that with the EA games, but they have
Did
like
you ever
all the
play
battlefields and stuff.
Destiny?
Yes, I played a lot of the first Destiny when it was on PS4. I was addicted to it. I didn't really play raids though. I played a lot of Crucible, which is like the multiplayer. It's almost like a, I think it's like a capture the flag type of situation or capture the zone, and it was like zone control. Well, I would play
Okay.
Crucible Control, and then sometimes I would play Team Deathmatch, but Control was the most fun. I started playing Destiny 2 once I was able to get it for free through Battle.net,
Okay.
and it's pretty
Does it
good.
have any similarities to PSO2? Because I know there's some crossover.
I mean, I guess raid wise, the way everybody organizes raids and how you can be on a mission or a quest and people can kind of jump in and assist you. So that's
Okay.
similar, and it's also really loot based. It's kind of like PSO, but like a first person shooter type version.
Interesting.
I like Destiny. I like Destiny 2. I just kind of fell off because there's so many games, and you kind of just fall off of stuff every now and again. I'll probably end up going back to playing it again, but it is a fun game. I mean, Destiny 2 tried to be more story based, but then they had Activision pushing a lot of things on them, which kind of messed things up a little bit. So that's why they ended up leaving. Bungie was kind of like, I'm done. Like, we're leaving, we're taking Destiny with us
Mhm.
because they didn't like what Activision Blizzard was doing. Because they were trying to make it, their whole games of service thing, where they want to release a
Yeah.
game and they want to charge so much money for things outside of the game. And Bungie didn't really like that. So they left. They kind of packed up and they were like, we're out of here.
All right. So you want to close up with
Yeah,
let's
well,
just finish up with PSO2. I mean, I've been enjoying it definitely. Plan to put many, many more hours into it, especially with the new content. Uh, I think you have to start putting more hours into it, honestly.
yeah. Well, I think it's fun, but a lot of what I like is I like some competitive stuff. So like that's why I like Overwatch. I like Overwatch for the competitive aspect of it. And I like fighting games because they're competitive. And I think it's mainly because I like fighting games so much that makes me not focus so much on like PSO and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and I got a question asking what level am I up to in PSO 2? I'm currently level 40. I finally got my double jump, everyone. So, I'm happy about that. It's going to help me get across certain areas. But
Got to
I'm
start using those boosters. Get your level up.
yeah, I got to I mean, I'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Once I get to 75, I'll be able to use some of the other weapons I have. But the thing
You
is
know what?
too, my guy is really powerful already just at a lower level and it gets kind of boring. Like I wish I can be a lower level but jump into a higher difficulty
Oh,
for
well,
certain
you know what? You
areas.
just hit 40, so you should be able to move on to super hard, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I started playing everything on hard and I was still level like 25, but because I'm a braver, I have, you know, the bow and arrow and I have a katana. So, it was it kind of made things too easy, a little bit boring. So
Yeah.
I wanted a little bit more difficulty. I want
I
more of a chance of me dying than me just
yeah.
standing there and taking every hit because I'm basically tanky and I can use two different types of weapons. So
Yeah. Now, I do want to comment on the interface of the game. I feel like it's way too much. Like, trying to find things in the menus is one of the most absurd tasks that I've ever had to deal with.
yeah, if you look at me on the stream yesterday, I wanted to do the mask to put the Sonic mask on, and I was like, where is this at again? And I just started like going through all the menus. I'm like, oh yeah, it's fashion, and I was like,
Yeah.
where is it in fashion? So I like
No, and then
you.
there's like outfits and parts and
Yeah.
consumables, outerwear, basewear, innerwear. It's like, oh
Yeah,
no.
they have a lot going on. But I mean, they do that on purpose because they want people to try and spend money to buy things to customize themselves. Because like
Yeah.
we said before, it's a free to play game, so they're trying to get money off of people basically.
Well, that's another reason why I disagreed with people saying to dump all the content at once is that I already feel like everything was dumped on me, you know?
Yeah.
It's like there's so much to learn.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff. Even being in the beta, like I have I have Peter on the stream right now. He's watching it and he was helping me with some stuff cuz I'm playing it. I'm like I was in beta, but I haven't played it enough since then to remember everything. And I'm like, so how do I do this? And how do I accept this daily mission or this reward? And he was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
you just
yep.
click on this and that. And I was like, oh okay, thanks. Because I couldn't remember because there's so many steps. And then yeah, there's missions, but you'll have like 30 different missions or contracts you can do, and it's just it stacks and there's so much and it's a little bit frustrating. But overall
Yeah.
it's a fun game. There's a lot of content to it. So it's just and like you were saying, there's a lot of content now. If you're going to you can't just throw every single episode out there cuz you're going to have people who want to take their time and kind of ease into everything. They don't
Yeah, it
want to
kind
have
of
everything
reminds
thrown
me
at them.
it reminds me of a World of Warcraft. So, the reason why I never got into World of Warcraft is because everyone was a million steps ahead of me. And it was like just to catch up to them and to understand the game, it was too big of a gap, so I just dropped it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Our,
never got into it. I mean, they tried getting new people too by giving you like, you start at level 20 or 25 and stuff like that. But even at
yeah.
that, it's just you feel a disconnect at a certain point cuz you're like you're not as invested as everyone else who's been playing for such a long time. We're like us, me, you, Peter who's watching, like we we were playing Fantasy Star Online episodes 1 and 2 from back in the day, and they did a good job of translating some things towards this new one, and then it kind of got us excited because we haven't had an opportunity to play something like this in a while. Yeah, we have our monster hunters and stuff like that, but nothing was exactly the same as Fantasy Star Online. So now that it
Yeah.
came out, it gave us, something to play again and to get involved with and waste hours of our time and grind and grind and grind.
Like I said, I don't know how much I'm going to be into Diablo 4 now that I have PSO2.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah.
And me, the game I'm invested in the most is Overwatch. But when I want to stream, there's a lot of people who stream Overwatch, so it's so oversaturated. So I was like, well, I'll just try and stream Fantasy Star Online. But the hard thing with Fantasy Star Online is not that many people are watching Fantasy Star Online.
Yeah.
They're not really looking for content on Fantasy Star Online. So it makes it difficult to use it as a game for a streaming platform. At least when I'm trying to get started. Like if I get, some followers or viewers and I'm just playing and doing chill streams after that, that's fine. But when you're trying to build a following and you're just trying to find that right game that's right in the sweet spot, it's difficult. And I would
Yep.
love to just sit there and play Fantasy Star Online, but it's like also I would like to get some viewers and stuff like that. And a lot of time I get to play video games, I pick one specific game, and if I decide to stream at that point in time, then that narrows down what I'm going to be playing because
Gotcha.
I'm trying to get, at least a few followers or something like that. Like so it gets complicated at that point. But we'll see where it goes. I think PSO2 is a good game. Or if anybody listens to this podcast, you should try it at least once. At least make an account. It's free. It doesn't hurt to give it a try. Try something new. But it's pretty fun. You can grind it out. I really like Urgent Quest though. That's one of my favorite things about it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's
I,
like raids.
yeah, I like when the urgent quests are getting ready to start and everybody's sitting in front of the desk
Yeah.
just waiting for it to start.
Yep.
and then everybody runs up and keeps checking to see if the urgent quest is up there yet. Cause it's kind of annoying though, because they'll announce it, but it takes them like, you know, 15 minutes before they actually post it that you can actually, you know, jump into the urgent quest.
Yeah.
So that's
All
kind
right.
of
Well,
annoying,
we
but
got like 15 minutes left in the podcast, so I think we should move on over to
and
big stuff.
I said roughly an hour. If it goes over an hour, hour and a half or whatever, I'm fine with it. I don't have an issue.
You're
But
gonna have to
yeah.
cut my voice out to make it into an hour.
just now I'm gonna put crickets. I'm gonna put
Yeah.
crickets for the last 15 minutes, and that's what people are gonna have, so we can hit an hour. All right, we're going into the PS5 announcement. What everybody was waiting for, the Choco Taco. So let's see. We still don't have a release date. They're still saying holiday 2020. In terms of design, I mean, I don't mind the design. My fiance says she likes it, so that means I can buy it. I'm gonna I'm gonna take it as that. And some of the games were alright. Some of the games it was like I don't know what I'm looking at. But what did you think of the little press conference and the announcement that we had going on?
Uh, I wasn't too big of a fan of it. Um, for the entire time that they showcased the games, I was just thinking to myself, I want to see what the console looks like. So when it finally hit, it was like, okay, has that like futuristic look. A lot of people said when you look at like concepts that people draw up, it kind of looks like that, like a concept art.
hmm
And yeah, I mean, I like it. Did you hear about how tall it's gonna be though?
No, but I could kind of tell from the picture, the side by side from the. I actually, if anybody's watching the podcast, I have the picture up right now, and you can see the controller next to the system. It's a good. Let's see, one, two, three. A good four controllers high,
Yeah,
and I know the Xbox Series X was like two controllers high. So this is
yeah,
about two times what the Xbox Series X is going to be in terms of size. So the hard thing that's going to happen is people are going to have to decide if they want this like next to their TV units, right? So the Series X kind of blends in. It kind of looks like an HTPC, a home theater PC. So it makes it easier. People can go, hey, this kind of blends in with my setup. It's black. It kind of matches everything else that I have going on. I'll just throw it in there. I'll throw it in a cubby or whatever, and it kind of blends in. And then now you got the PS5, which looks like something from Back to the Future or Spaceship, and it kind of doesn't just flow with everything else people have in their TV consoles. You have it's white and black and blue, which are not common colors that you see in anybody's TV setup.
yeah,
It's just it looks out of the ordinary. And so a lot of people were saying who designed it, Dell and their Alienware team. And it's
yeah.
true because it
Literally.
it kind of looks like an Alienware desktop computer. It looks very similar. But I mean, in the end, they're going for something different. Uh PlayStation, I mean, not saying that I'm a PlayStation fanboy, but I do like PlayStation. As I have anybody watching, I have my PlayStation visor on. Um, they've always gone with very simple, very straightforward stuff that kind of blends in. The reason the PS2 became so popular is because it was simple, it was square, it was black, and it played DVDs. And that's one of the big reasons why it won. It wasn't as powerful as a lot of the other consoles were, but the IPs were good, and the fact that it was just a simple system and it played DVDs. And that's what helped it win the console war for that generation. But then you have the PS3 where they tried to do something different, and this is what a lot of people have been saying. They've been saying the PS5, Sony, it's a scary situation because it's feeling a lot like what was happening with the PS3. You have the generation before was really popular. It was the top selling console. That's what's happened with the PS4. One of the top selling consoles, great IPs, perfect pricing, everything worked out good. After the PS2 was the PS3. They tried to go with this, special design. They the cooling ended up being bad for it at that point. The pricing was ridiculous, but it was more powerful hardware. But but with it being more powerful, it was more expensive, and people didn't like that. And you had a system that ended up being roughly $600 at the time of release and did not sell good, and the 360 ended up beating it out with a price of around $400, and it had price drops a lot quicker than what the PS3 had. Now the PS5, they're saying it's looking to shape up in a similar way, where you have something that is powerful, has good hardware inside of it, but Sony might have gotten too cocky with the popularity of the PS4 and how well it sold, and they feel complacent, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, we'll price it for $600. People will pay that amount of money. They won't have a problem paying $600 for this, and we'll release a digital version and we'll sell it for $550 or something like that. But in the end, it's just like, I feel like the Series X is gonna run like $400, and we're gonna fall into the same situation as the PS3 and 360 generation, where
Yeah, I feel like even if it's a $50 difference, if it's from $450 for the Xbox to $500 for the PS5, I feel like that's gonna do people in, and they're gonna go for the Xbox.
yeah, and the thing, like I've been saying, what I wanted from the PS5 is, I'm not even so hung up on the architecture, the graphics, the ray tracing, all that stuff. I'm not as hung up on that stuff. I'm more hung up on if they're willing to embrace the PlayStation products of the past and the games of the past with backwards compatibility and things like that. Because as somebody that has collected older PlayStation games, I have a large library, and I would like to just have one system. I could just put a game in and play it. Use emulation. Emulation has done so much. You released a PlayStation Classic console which runs off of emulation. You can't tell me that you can't put that inside of the PS5 with how powerful it is, and with what people are doing with regular PCs, that you can't put the emulation inside of the system. When you have Xbox, who's going to have almost complete backwards compatibility with Xbox 360, and then they're going to have Xbox One games all in the Series X. You can play everything. Disc based, digital, whichever one you need to. And they're implementing new things with the Series X, like basically like a save state kind of situation while you're playing games. And they're making it backwards compatible with the other games too. And they're also making it that you can upscale games from the Xbox and Xbox 360 to fit a higher resolution TV. And it's going to smooth things out and make it look like seamless. So Xbox has a lot going on, and I don't see that stuff with PlayStation. At least they haven't announced it yet, but they've had so much time to even just announce that kind of information.
Yeah, I feel like with what's out so far, uh, I could see myself being more on the side of Xbox. And, well, actually, I'm kind of just waiting on AMD to see if they do the RDNA 2 cards that are inside of the systems. If they offer something like that for PC, then I'm probably going to jump on top of that. But as far as PS5, how they showed off games, I gotta say there was only like three, maybe four games that I was really interested in. I mean, how many games were you really excited about in the PS5 demo?
Give me 1 second. I'll go down the list on on Tom's Guide. They have a list of some of the games because they
Yeah, I'm on
announced like
Tech Radar right now.
they announced like a million games. But what one of the things they were trying to do with the games, they were really trying to play it like nostalgia, and like I liked Oddworld. I thought that was interesting announcement, interesting game too, because it looked really nice. A lot of people are forgetting about it and they're not really talking about it, but I think that game's gonna be really good, especially
Yeah.
because they have a lot of the creative minds that made the original Oddworld games, which were so popular, and they're just working on this new one, and they're gonna have so much more to work with than they've ever had in the past.
Mm.
And then the regular stuff that everybody else is excited about, like Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank, Horizon. I was actually excited about the new the Sackboy game.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking forward to that because it'll be good to get a new platformer on PlayStation. Because right now it feels like Nintendo is the only one that can make like a solid platformer in terms of somebody who's not an indie studio. Like
You know,
Nintendo's been the main one.
when they started that trailer for Sackboy, I thought it was going to be Mod Nation Racers, and I got really excited.
That would be a good game to bring back.
Yeah,
I would like a
definitely.
new Infamous game.
Yeah.
But Insomniac has been working on the Spider-Man games, so there probably won't be a new Infamous game for a very long time. Because they
Okay.
also Insomniac also said they clarified things and they said Spider-Man Miles Morales is its own game. It's a standalone game. It's just connected. It's basically a spin-off of the PS4 Spider-Man game.
Mhm.
So they're still working on Spider-Man 2, an official sequel to the one on PS4.
Ah, okay.
So this is technically a spin-off. But
You
with
know,
that said, that just means, the games I want are just not going to come out for a very long time.
yeah. I actually tuned in to the PS5 announcement when they were showing off the trailer for Grand Theft Auto 5 Enhanced,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it I was amazed because it looked exactly like how Grand Theft Auto 5 normally looks. So I was like, what am I looking at?
Yeah, I
People were
saw it.
typing in the chat GTA 6. I was like, that's GTA 5 and it looks no different from GTA 5
Yeah,
on
well,
like a computer.
the thing was when they played it up, it was literally the first announcement. And they play it up as, look at this new game from Rockstar. That's the feeling you get from it because the first thing they show is the Rockstar logo, right? And then you get the dialogue going and they're talking and you're like, "Oh man, it's a new GTA game. This is going to be sweet." And then it goes GTA 5. And everybody goes, "What?" But also while they're playing that, it shows this is PS4 footage. It literally shows it like in the bottom corner.
Mm.
So they didn't even show PS5 footage for GTA 5 or GTA Online. They literally just showed PS4 footage. So I could have went, took my capture card, played GTA 5, uploaded it online and said, "Look, it's going to be on PS5."
Yep.
And that's basically what they did. It was no real announcement, and I'm pretty sure Rockstar had to pay them a lot of money for that because they were probably like, "Hey, put us in front. We're gonna get a lot of hype from this." And it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
what? But don't worry, it's gonna be free when it comes out on PS5. So no worries, no
Well,
worries
let me
there.
just let me just say what my games that I actually enjoyed when I was watching. Resident Evil 8 Village, that was a big one that I was excited about.
Yeah, trash frame rate
Demon
though.
Souls, that that was amazing too. And then that furry game, I don't
Oh
know what it
no,
is.
that I was like, what is this?
The art style looked pretty good. Um, Goodbye Volcano High.
Oh yeah, that
That
it kind of
I
threw me
think
off.
it's that.
I was like, what is
Yeah.
this? I was like, what is going on? I liked that little devil inside game. I
Mhm.
don't know what the story's gonna play out to be, but the stuff that looks like it's gonna be gameplay looked actually really good. Like it looked interesting, and the art
Okay,
style was
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
I'm watching it now.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty cool. I kind of like that. Can't wait for Gran Turismo 7. Yep, that'll probably be out. A lot of people are like, yeah, the studio with that studio, it won't be out until like 2022. But what do you think about some of the stuff that's gonna be in PS5? We're gonna have 3D audio. They're already advertising, buy this headset. It's gonna be like $90. So you're gonna have to pay like 600 for a for a system and then 90 for a headset to get the
Yeah.
full experience. I don't know. I might not buy like any of these systems right off the bat. Usually I'm like there day one picking up a system, but for this, I'm really on the fence with both of them.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like people are propping this up like it's gonna kill the PC basically.
Yeah, no.
And like I don't see that at all, honestly.
Look,
If AMD releases the card that pretty much matches these systems, there's no reason for me to buy either of them.
look. So if the price of this is like $400 for either the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, okay, it's a reasonable argument to think that people who play consoles won't transfer over to PC yet because they can get something for, more bang for their buck basically than buying a gaming PC straight out. Because yeah, you can get something like this in a gaming PC, but a lot of people don't have the money up front. Most people's limits is roughly $400, which is why they gravitate towards consoles so much. So for those people, yeah, this is going to be great, and you're going to see most people who were already console gamers to begin with gravitating towards this. They might not upgrade to a PC. But for people who play PC already, or who are looking for something different, they're probably not going to pick this. Or people who are looking to put something in their living room and have it as like a multimedia option, they're probably going to just build, a home theater PC or something like that. They probably still won't buy something like this unless, prices drop or something like that. But strictly console people will continue to buy consoles if the
Yeah.
pricing is right. But if their pricing is wrong, it's going to push people towards wanting to build a PC because if it's $600, you can build a relatively good PC for $600 and then just upgrade the graphics card later. Because you can get everything that's inside of these things. So you got an 8 core Zen 2 processor with 3.5 gigahertz. So my PC now that I'm running, I spent a little over $500 for it, like 530, 540. And that's not including tax, but I spent about that much on it. And I have an 8 core processor, but mine's runs at 4.1 gigahertz. I also got 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is what's going to be inside of the PS5. And I have an M.2 for storage. It's not 825 gigabytes, but it is enough for my operating system, and I have a 3 terabyte hard drive inside of it. So like, let's say this is $600, and I spent five something on mine's. I feel like mine's is a better deal. Yeah, the graphics card was a RX 580 8 gigabyte, which just runs 1080p, but that's fine. I can always upgrade that later. This you're stuck with it, and that's it. So even if there's advancements or anything, you're stuck.
Yeah, PC gaming is so much more of an investment, you know?
Yeah, you feel like you
Whereas,
you get a lot more out of it.
yeah, definitely because you can do more with it, you know?
Yeah, like right now, when I'm playing PC, I could be talking to you on Discord like this, and I could be playing. But if you want to do that on a PS5, you got to have your phone or your laptop next to you to use Discord to communicate with somebody, or you have to use some in-system party chat that doesn't work the way it's supposed to, and people get knocked out of it, or the audio's not that great. Like,
Yeah.
you can do so much more with the PC. And like I still love PlayStation. Some of the IPs and the exclusives they have are great. Same thing with Xbox. I love Gears of War and I love Halo. And those would be the only two things that would maybe make me want to get the Series X. But also Microsoft has been releasing a lot of their games on PC now. So Like I'm thinking I want to get the Master Chief collection so I can start playing Halo again. And there's a lot of Gears of War games I'm just gonna buy on PC that are on PC, so I can get that experience without having to get a console now. I think that's the one
Yep.
thing PS5 has going for them is their IPs, their exclusive IPs are on PS4, and that's pretty much it. But there is a rumor that Horizon Zero Dawn, the first one, is going to be released on PC.
Hmm.
And they're saying it might be one of the first like big PlayStation games to ever release on PC because PlayStation is very strict with their IPs and keeping it to Sony and PlayStation alone. But we'll see what happens because if that does happen, then it really makes a point to people to like why should I buy a console other than having something in your living room that you don't have to sit in a desk for. Why do I want a
Yeah.
console?
And honestly, for a lot of people, they feel like Nintendo's the way to go when it comes to that.
Yeah,
So hopefully, for the next podcast, let's pray that we'll have something about Nintendo to talk about next time we podcast.
yeah. Hopefully they make some big moves or some sort of announcement. But we'll see how that goes. But see, Nintendo, the cards that they played, right? Yeah, they don't have the best graphics, and it's not the most, you know, amazing thing you're looking at sometimes. Sometimes, I mean, Breath of the Wild looks great, and it's just 1080p when it's docked. So, you know, but they made it so people can play at home on their TV at a reasonable price while also being able to pick up that system and take it with them wherever they want to go and start a game on the couch, be able to pick up the console and take that game with them wherever they want to go. Which is it's something different. It evolved, console gaming, and it's the thing that's selling all the consoles because it's like it's so different where PlayStation and Xbox just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Like yeah, they have the new feedback in the controllers and the 3D audio for the PlayStation, but it's like how far is that really going to take you in terms of console sold? Like how many people are really going to be like, "Oh yeah, man, I bought the PS5 because the audio's 3D and I can feel, people walking inside my controller." Like even Nintendo tried the gimmick with their vibration technology that they're using in their Joy-Cons, and
And no one cares
yeah,
about
it was just a gimmick. It wasn't anything important. But the thing that was big for people is just being able to pick it up and take it wherever you want to go. And that's one of the things Sony messed up with when they had the Vita. You had a great system, very good graphics, good games. You have great exclusive IPs. People could take them wherever they want to go. You started developing your streaming service, so now people could pick up that console and stream Spider-Man for the PS4 on a Vita. But you stopped support for it and you gave up on it so fast, and it just hurt you in the long run. That's more systems and properties you could have sold at that point, but you kind of just threw it to the wayside. They could have did so much more. But Microsoft is being smart in terms of they're working more with Nintendo and teaming up with Nintendo for certain things and letting Nintendo use like Minecraft and stuff like that.
it. Yeah, I
So
can't wait to see where that goes.
yeah, so that partnership is gonna it might bring some cool things. You never know. One day we might get Halo on a Switch because there was also talks of Microsoft letting Nintendo use their streaming service. So you can download the streaming service onto the Switch, and then you can play Xbox games wherever you want, as long as you have an internet connection.
Well, let's see. I mean, it's the summer. This is supposed to be the time when everyone starts putting everything out.
Yeah, that's the hard thing with rumors. It's like it's just rumors, so you're just stuck waiting to find something out. But some of the rumors are pretty accurate. Like there were leaks about Village for PS5, Resident Evil 8, and they ended up being true. So sometimes some of the stuff pans out pretty well and ends up being real. So we'll see what happens. Right now, I have the specs pulled up side by side for PS5 and Xbox, and both holiday 2020. We have key exclusives. So Xbox has Halo Infinite, and they have that Hellblade 2 game, which looks pretty interesting. It looks graphically, it looks beautiful. But the hard thing with Xbox, and then what PlayStation ended up doing was gameplay. Like you haven't seen really any gameplay on Series X, where Sony made sure they pushed that as like a priority. Like, look, this is gameplay. Here's gameplay right here. And that I feel like that it's hurting Xbox a little bit because people just want to see what it's actually capable of. Other than Minecraft, they showed Minecraft gameplay, but that doesn't count.
The greatest.
And then backwards compatibility, we have almost all PS4 games, almost,
Yeah. See how that goes.
including optimized PS4 Pro titles. And then we have Xbox has all Xbox One games, select 360 and original Xbox games. But supposedly it's like a large portion of those libraries that they tested. Like they literally have people in a room with an Xbox Series X putting Xbox and Xbox 360 games into it, playing them for hours to make sure to see if it breaks, and then recording it. So,
I wish I had that job.
yeah, I want that job too. Or Austin Evans, who actually got to go there and see the teardown of the Series X. He probably got to play like all sorts of games too and try them out.
Stand that guy.
Hey guys.
Oh no, we can't start rivalries already.
I like Austin's videos. He's funny though. His entrance, his opening. Hi guys, it's Austin.
Hey guys, this is Austin. Today we're gonna be. Oh,
See, you
too
know
much.
it. You know it by heart. You love his channel. All right, and then we got GPUs. So PS5, 10 teraflops. I'm not counting the 0.3. That doesn't count. Once it's a point, I'm rounding either up or down. So you got 10 teraflops, and then you got 12 teraflops on Series X. So, and everybody's like, look, it's more powerful. The Series X, it's 2 teraflops. Like it's not that big of a difference. But also, what this graph I'm looking at isn't showing the RAM speeds. So Xbox has their RAM speeds split. So they have 10 gigabytes running at a certain speed, and then 6 gigabytes running at a completely different speed. I guess to overcompensate for something that's going on in there. Where
Oh, you know what? I think they said that it basically runs Windows 10, right?
oh yeah, it's a modified
so it's
version.
probably designated. You know, some of the memory is probably designated to Windows.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the thing is, even the Xbox One runs Windows 10. It's just a modified version. I'm surprised somebody hasn't done anything to like hack it in a certain way to like just install Windows on like
Bill
an
Gates will
Xbox.
come from him.
Yeah, and then Bill Gates ninjas, like they talk about Nintendo's ninjas.
Yeah.
Bill Gates ninjas. They're all they they're all hugging trees. They come out of the trees. Yeah, but the PlayStation's RAM runs at all one speed, all 16 gigabytes, and then store. Sony's weird with their storage decision. They have 825 gigabytes for their custom SSD. When
Yeah,
I heard
the
that,
SSD was supposed to be like extremely fast or something.
yeah, they
I
said
don't
like
know.
even Linus from Linus Tech Tips had to come out and apologize because he was like,
Yeah,
"Oh, I can't."
watched that video.
Yeah, he was like, "I can't imagine like it's that much faster than this, and that." And then he came out. He was like, "Oh yeah, I apologize. Like I misunderstood what they were trying to say." He was like, "No, it is." He's like, "It's gonna be ridiculous if it's really everything that they're saying that it's gonna be." So
We'll see.
we'll see what
You know,
happens.
a lot of people were saying it's difficult not having E3 because, the PS5, it could sound like a jet engine. Like,
Yeah.
no one knows what it's going to be like yet as far as how it sounds, how big it is.
Oh well,
So,
they don't even have a real mock-up of the PS5 yet.
really?
They just started production for that. Like it just got approved like not too long ago. They were saying, and they had the design. I think that's why they didn't show the back IO, because I don't even think they have an idea clearly of what exactly they're gonna put as the back IO. Of course, you're gonna have an HDMI port, but they probably don't know if they're gonna have four USB 3.0 ports or two USB 3.0s and a USB-C port. Like I don't think they've thought that completely through yet, or if they're gonna have like a hot swap NVMe slot in the back of it, because they keep saying you can just use a standard NVMe. It's not gonna be as fast as their SSD, but you can still use it for storage and blah blah blah. But there's no released information on how you're going to have to install it, or if it's going to be hot swap, or what's happening there. So if you notice the press conference, they unveil the whole front. They go, ooh, look at it, it's sexy, ooh, smooth. Look at that. Look at those popped collars on that system.
Yeah.
And then they don't show the back of it at all. They run down the entire front of the system and the top of the system, but they don't show the back of it. So, I mean, we can only imagine what's going to be back there. But it just shows like they're not finished yet with it. But yet it has a holiday 2020 release date. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so to round it up, both have 8K, both have 120 frames per second, and both do 4K UHD, which Sony owns Blu-rays and UHD Blu-rays. So either way, Sony's making money off of that. They'll make their money somehow. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting console war. Nintendo will probably come out of nowhere with some strange announcement.
Again, I'm hoping by next podcast, hoping something pops up.
I doubt it would be by next podcast. It's probably gonna be like 4 months from now, and then they're gonna be like, it's gonna be right before the holidays. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, next month we're gonna release this, and that. And everybody's gonna be like, what? I
need
can't believe
E3
it.
back.
They really should just release a home console system that is strictly like no Switch or anything like that, and just upgrade the hardware. Like just upgrade it, because they were saying like a lot of the games for Switch can run like a clean 60 frames per second at least 1080p, but and it's pretty stable, but then it starts to get unstable at certain areas. So imagine you just add some RAM and maybe overclock the CPU a little bit and the GPU, and you'll have a system running way more powerful than what we have here. And all you got to do is put some sort of cooling system within the console, because there's no real cooling in the dock. The dock has no cooling in it. It's just a board. And then you have one fan inside of the Switch right now. So of course you can't push it to its limit with the way it was designed. But if you have something that is strictly a home console, you can push it way past its limits. I'm sorry if my peas are popping a little bit, because I need to add another windscreen on this, but I need to get my preamp for my microphone first before I can do that. Yeah, but I could see Nintendo doing a lot, doing big things, but it's just a matter if they actually want to do that. Because sometimes it feels like they don't want to compete. They just want to sit in their specific space that they have carved out for them, and kind of just stay there. And they don't want to rock the boat or draw too much attention to themselves. And
All
then
right.
and then
So,
and then you'll end up buying the system, and then you'll get rid of it and you'll sell it, and then you'll buy
yeah.
some a VR headset.
Yep. Sounds like me.
So are you gonna play Half-Life Alex on your new Oculus?
You know what? I might actually.
And then you'll get nauseous and you'll be like, I'm never playing that again.
Yeah, I kind of just plan to sit down and watch videos or something. Who knows?
Yeah, I tried doing the FPSs on the PlayStation VR and it did not work for me. It was too much. My brain couldn't handle it. It felt like I was spun in circles like so many times. Like I was on like one of those rides at the theme parks that just like spin
Yeah.
and like make you really dizzy. That's how I felt. And I was like, yeah, this is not for me.
All right, you want to close up the podcast?
Yeah, I think we'll finish it up for tonight and then hopefully everybody liked the content. Quality content. Quality.
I'm sure you're probably gonna replace me next week and
Yeah,
have some expert on.
yeah, some an awesome expert. Yeah, we'll see what happens cuz
Yeah,
I need to schedule some people and figure some things out. But now that I'm getting everything together, we'll see how stuff goes. But if
all right,
anything,
sounds good.
you will probably be back on with me next week, and
Probably.
we'll see what topics come up throughout the week, and we'll have some talking points.
All right, sounds good. Thank you for having me on. I
Not a
really
problem.
appreciate it.
Not a problem. Well, I hope everybody has a good one, and you enjoyed the podcast. This will be uploaded through Anchor after I'm done with the live. I'm gonna do some editing. I'm gonna upload it, and it's gonna be on Spotify, Google Play, and I hope everybody enjoys it. There's also a YouTube channel, the Restless Nerd Podcast, and I may be putting some clips on there. So we'll see what we can clip and what we can upload on there. So everybody have a good night, and I'll see you guys next time.